Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase. Yes, it does include a Picatinny rail adapter, so you can mount it to any standard AR-15, like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the flamethrower button to learn more, or click the link in the description. Lastly, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. In fact, that would be my Christmas wish. If you can click that subscribe button, it would make my day. Greatly appreciate it. Now, going to the business part of the podcast, you have Dodge won't admit if you can or cannot fit a V8 into their new EV charger, which, yeah, a lot of people suspect if you could fit a V8, if you could fit the Elephant engine from Dodge, which 1,001 horsepower, that I don't think it's possible to talk about or see one of those engines and not smile ear to ear. As Tim the Toolman Taylor would say in Home Improvement, he would say, "Oh no, no, oh." That is just pure awesomeness. And if you could fit one of those into a Mazda Miata, I can't help but think you could probably make it fit here. Now this comes to us thanks to Nico, who's a writer at The Drive, where they say, quote, Dodge won't admit the new Charger can fit a Hemi V8, and we know why. Here you can see the iconic Dodge Hemi. And then you can see the new designed Charger, which does have a lot of the same overall concepts as the previous version in terms of aesthetics, but looks a little bit more angular and almost looks like a bastardized Nissan, if you ask me. But I could suppose if you were inebriated and you drank enough, it could look like a Charger. Don't get me wrong. Now they say, quote, it's a simple question. Does the old Hemi V8 physically fit in a 2024 Charger engine bay? But Dodge's refusal to answer says a lot about its current problems. Because I can't but think, again, they'll dive into the article, but yeah, if they admit they can, everyone will think, well, this is what could have been. And even worse is a fascinating business phenomenon called the Osborne effect. It was a fact, actually, a term coined from a company called the Osborne Company. They were manufacturing computers way back in the day when computers were the size of a heavy briefcase. And the Osborne Company came out with a computer, and it was pretty good. It had good speeds and feeds, RAM and all that kind of good stuff. And they started to sell a little bit. However, right after a couple of days of launching their first product, the Osborne 1, they said, well, we're gonna soon come out with the Osborne 2. It'll have more RAM, more memory, faster compute power, and by the way, it'll cost less. That gave a lot of people incentive not to buy the first product, and so many people decided not to because, again, the newer product was going to be cheaper and better, that they subsequently had so few sales, the company went bankrupt, and now it's really known as a business use case. And I can't but think, Stellantis is already hurting. Not a lot of people are going to buy this to begin with. If they admit, oh yeah, you can fit a V8 in there. By the way, our old CEO is out. We're going to get a new CEO. A lot of people are wondering, well, will they learn from their hubris of taking away what consumers wanted was a big gnarly V8? You're buying a Dodge, you want a Hemi. It's the whole brand. It's what made the company unique for decades. Brilliant patented, brilliant feat of engineering, and yet now they have a straight six turbo, which is in pretty much every Stellantis vehicle. Which again, you're taking away the heart of the vehicle that makes it so unique. And they'll also have an EV version for all 18 people in San Francisco who want to buy them. I'm only partially kidding, but yeah, when it comes to what people want in a Charger, much different than what people want in, let's say, for Tesla or even one of the performance EV brands, which you can debate, is that even a thing? Another topic for another time, perhaps. Now, diving into the article, they say, quote, yesterday, Jalopnik published a story citing anonymous sources from a Dodge engineer who said that the old V8 couldn't fit. We're skeptical about that, so we reached out to Dodge and Stellantis PR to ask point blank if it's physically impossible to stuff a Hemi into the new car. Dodge's response, Dodge is focused, this is hilarious, this is like a politician from Dodge. They say, quote, Dodge is focused on launching all new electric Dodge Charger Daytona models, as well as the Dodge Charger 6-pack ICE option models next year. We have nothing additional to share in regard to potential future products, which it reeks of what a politician would say. I understand why they're doing it, but yeah, everyone's just saying, really? Because the lovely thing about chop shops or custom car companies and YouTubers, as soon as one of these Dodge EV bastardizations hit the streets, or even with the straight six, as soon as it gets sold, one of the first persons to buy it, and I pray they do it, it's going to be a YouTuber or a creator who is going to rip out that abomination of a powertrain and put in a good old elephant engine with 1,000 or 1,001 horsepower, a big gnarly V8. And then everyone will see, oh, so it is possible. You don't even need to retool the whole vehicle. You can just, well, it's more complex than Legos, yes, of course, but you could just rip and replace and make it great again, some might argue. Now, they continue to say, here you can see another side of the vehicle now that you would want, which, again, if you're really, man, it almost looks like a bastardized Nissan. Or maybe even a bastardized Camaro. There are a couple good angles on this car, but just a majority of it just, to me, just doesn't look unique enough, but that's just me. They say that's a heck of a non-answer, and we can guess why. It's actually the question. First, the engineer's full statement was that the V8 wouldn't fit without cost-prohibitive changes to the cradle and firewall, which leads to the important question. With enough elbow grease and a can-do attitude, can you stuff a big engine into anything? And I don't mean just a backyard wrenchers, LS swapping a Miata, Jeep dropping a 6.4-liter V8 in the Wrangler from the factory, which, again, Dodge and Jeep, like, they used to do the craziest cool things. Like, they're putting giant V8 engines into a little SUV for soccer moms. It was awesome. And when I see them on the streets, every once in a while, I'll recognize those giant Brembo brakes the size of your foot. And I smile because I know some engineers just went above and beyond to make that unique powertrain, that unique package for a consumer. Now, they continue to say, and here, oh, I'm sorry. We're going to show you the new engine. Oh, it's disgusting. Stellantis. And don't get me wrong. It's all about managing expectations. My Honda, yes, I'd love to have a V8 stuck in my car. It'd be comically hilarious. But the Honda Civic, people love having a straight, just having 4 cylinders of greatness, turbocharged and stick shift. It's what's been the brand staple for decades. It's what they expect. BMW, they make a great straight six with a stick shift. I admire BMW. I'm not sure if I can afford the maintenance on one, but I admire their engineering. It's what they expect. People who buy Chargers want the Hemi. They've got it for decades. And now you have this really uninspiring twin-turbo V6, which it's a good engine, but it's the placement in this vehicle that is just viscerally having a lot of people throw up in their mouth. Now, on the left, you can see the beautiful V8 that Chrysler, Stellantis, Dodge used to make. And to the right, you can see the new Stellantis, straight six with the, which, again, for cost-wise, makes a lot of sense. They put the same engine in 17 car brands now. Stellantis, their portfolio is I think it's a little bit too big for most companies to manage, and that's why they're failing so epically. But yeah, look at the screen. What would you rather have for a Charger? A good old V8 Hemi? Or a straight six twin turbo, automatic only? Don't even get me started on that note. Now, they continue saying, well, looking at the big picture, the real reason Dodge won't answer is because a new V8 in the Charger is possible, but highly, highly unlikely. The cost issue is important. Stellantis isn't exactly in the best position to be blowing out a bunch of cash to adopt supply and production lines for a different engine, which, again, they also took it out of the Dodge truck, too. They used to have the 1500 truck, the entry-level truck. It used to be a V8, like, well, pretty much every competitor, including Ford, well, GMC and Chevy the same, but you know what I mean. Most popular trucks, they all started the 1500 series with a V8. Dodge, while yes, it does have more torque, the speeds and feeds are better, the 1500 new Dodge truck, or the Ram, now comes with, again, that twin-turbo V6, or sorry, straight six in this particular case. No V, just a simple straight line. Now, they argue in the article that isn't even possible to actually make a profit on this, which, again, if you didn't destroy your whole supply chain and your whole, assembly of making V8s, it would be a lot easier. Now, going to the comments, I wonder, maybe I'm alone in this analysis, or maybe everyone's giving Dodge praise, like, oh yeah, it's fine. Who needs a V8 anyway? Obviously, I'm kidding. Let's go in the comments and find out here. And maybe I'll hurt your eyes a little bit by putting another here. I'll let you look at the side of the Dodge, which, again, looks like a bastardized Nissan mush with the Camaro, which, again, if this is a new car, like a new product name from the ground up, I think the fans would be a little more forgiving. But again, you have a brand heritage that's gone decades and decades, and I can see the elements of where they try to stick to the original design, but I think they deviated a little too much for most of the fans to appreciate the new design of it. Now, going to the comments, one of the first ones comes from Michael Spartato, says, quote, It likely fits, but due to the emphasis, it'd make dissipating crash energy difficult. FCA gave the answer some years ago when the JR Wrangler launched without a V8 that eventually found a way to make it. See Rubicon 392. But the press releases for both the concept truck and production were explicitly mentioned the front section of the frame, which is redesigned to accommodate the V8. Alaska Man, which I've heard of Florida Man. Is that a new thing, Alaska Man? Perhaps. He says, quote, the latest of Dodge V8 is hardly what I consider old school. This is cutting edge technology that's reliably made. Big power and light compact engines. I just laughed because when I think of Dodge reliable, it's the antithesis of reliability these days. My parents bought a 2001 Grand Caravan. It was good for the environment in terms of a life cycle. It immediately turned to rust and returned it to the earth elements, which is a sad thing because the Dodge brothers, when they founded the company, were very much about reliability. But nevertheless, he says so much more could be done. At least Ford is holding on the ICE V8s live on their trucks and muscle cars, which give Ford credit. And Jim Farley, the CEO, he said he doesn't care what the competition is doing. Ford will always make a fun V8 sports car, which these days is pretty rare. I mean, General Motors killed the Camaro altogether. Rumor is there'll be an EV two-door SUV. And yeah, when it comes to the Charger and the Challenger, it's EV or straight six, both without a manual transmission. Gotta give Ford credit. I always like the styling a little bit more of the Camaro, but I think safe to say that Ford did win the Pony Wars. You also have BL saying, I don't think a clean message makes up for it being one that the loyal customer base doesn't want to hear. No one wants to hear about how we need to cut back on emissions, but it still needs to happen. He did get 3 likes. Yeah, I don't know about that. But that is one of the reasons why many automotive companies are being kneecapped and you're having less and less fun vehicles and more EVs, which we really debate about in regards to life cycle asset management, if it's actually better for the earth. But yeah, a lot of companies are being kneecapped to make more and more EVs and hybrids because the government's doing a de facto ban on them with tailpipe emission standards as well as fuel economy standards and all that kind of stuff. So there's also a de facto ban. So Ford is making so many EVs, so they can still make the good stuff. So that is also another variable. Scrolling down more and more. Metal Marla says, so I'm looking forward to the 2 SEMA swap coming soon. Prelude Type R and a new Charger Hellcat swap, which, yeah, there will be some cool folks that do that. Unfortunately, I'm not sure. That's not going to be a mass-produced product. That's going to be very much boutique one-offs. Again, going back to the environment, there used to be a company that in California, or California, as some people call it, there used to be a company that made a Mazda Miata. And their whole business model was swap it out for a big old V8, which is a comical thing to do with such a small, lightweight vehicle to take an inline-4 engine, which, God admire Mazda, still comes with the stick shift. And yeah, they just put in a big old V8, which there's something cool about that. But California shut that part down of business, unfortunately. So it looks like, yeah, I suspect you could probably cram it in, and yeah, we'll see some custom folks do it. But in terms of will Dodge actually bring back the V8? I hope so, but let's just say I wouldn't hold out. I don't think it's going to be the Christmas miracle people are hoping for. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and have a Merry Christmas.